If you've been watching my videos for the last few months, you know I've been trying to incorporate my love for the outdoors and, getting out there doing things. And well, it's just something that my wife and I have been doing a lot more lately because it's just fun. We enjoy it. We aren't really that different from anyone else though. We work during the day. We really only have the evenings and weekends to go do stuff. And well, for me and for us, what that really means is that we want to make sure our barrier to entry is as low as possible so that we can really just, throw a few things in the car and get going. And one of the big things is, well, what are we going to do about food? Because, that's one of the biggest things you have to think about when you're going out on a trip. And really, there's only a few options for that. You have an ice chest and you can put ice in it to keep things cold, or you can have something like what I have now, which is a portable refrigerator. This one is from Iceco. It's called the VL45. And Iceco in the last few months, years, has, I think, really made this segment accessible for more people. Before, you'd have to spend thousands of dollars to get a portable refrigerator like this, but now you don't have to spend nearly as much, really half that. Ever since I knew a portable refrigerator like this existed, I've wanted to get one because it just makes life easier. And when you're building a rig like what I am doing, that's kind of like my goal here. It's like I said, lowering that barrier to entry, the less amount of things I have to throw in the car when I need to go. If everything can kind of just be set, then I'm going to be happy. And well, the food area is one of those that you needed to get going. Now, funny enough, we were actually on a camping trip not too long ago with a few friends, and he had just gotten his portable refrigerator, and I was like, man, I really want to get one of these because I was checking it out. It was really useful. It was exactly what I was looking for. And literally that night when I woke up, there was a message from Iceco in my inbox asking if I wanted to check out the VL45, and I really wanted to check it out, so I've been putting it through its paces for the last few months, and it's a little dinged up, it's a little banged up because I've been using it, but I absolutely love it. This is the setup that I have for this fridge, and this is basically what the back of my car looks like at all times. I don't really take anything out of here unless I'm using it, and because really this is all I need to have a good weekend, have a good afternoon. I've got my chairs, I've got a small table, I've got power, and now I have the Iceco fridge. And I think something like this is what a lot of people who buy a fridge like this are going to be doing with it. It's going to live in their car, and it's going to be for when they're on the go and they just want to have, that cold storage option. This has gone with us for quite a few adventures, and well, you can kind of tell I have not babied this at all because I wanted to put it to the test and see how it did. And well, cosmetically, it has a few bumps and bruises, like right here is a pretty decent sized dent. Functionally, it's perfect, and it has worked extremely well. From a build quality perspective, this thing feels pretty rugged. We've got those bumps, but other than that, it is surviving no problem. It's got nice protection on the corners. It has I think, pretty nice green finish. The handles, if you want to pick it up, are very solid. They're spring loaded, so they stay down, but they also let you carry it no problem. The latches here to actually get into the fridge are also solid. The VL45 is a single zone refrigerator, meaning it is only one temperature for the entire thing. They have other options that are a freezer and refrigerator, or just a dual zone if that's something you're looking for, but this is just single zone. Now, even though this is single zone, you have a wide range of temperatures. So if you want to use it as a refrigerator, you can, but if you also want to use it as a freezer, you can. You just can't really do them at the same time. But it can go down from 0 degrees Fahrenheit to 50 degrees Fahrenheit. So anything within that range, this can handle. And it's using a C-cup compressor inside. So this is like a real refrigerator. It's not a cooling box. This is a full-on refrigerator with a compressor and everything. And this is made to be rugged. It has a 5-year warranty, and it can operate at 40 degrees of tilt. So if you're in those off-road situations, you don't have to worry about the fridge failing at all. But it is a pretty decent capacity, as you can see. So it gets pretty deep in here. You can fit 72 cans of whatever, if you wanted to, just to give you a, capacity, a visualization of what that might look like. But more accurately, it's a 45-liter capacity, hence the VL45 name. And these baskets are removable, so if you wanted to put, a bunch of produce or something and just bring it over to camp, you can easily do that, and that is nice. So you just give some organization that you wouldn't normally have like in an ice chest. And because you don't need ice, you can see all of this is cold, but there is a lot more room, because if I had an ice chest, this would be, filled halfway with ice, and then I could put my food in, whereas now it's just empty, but it's still cold. Another big thing to consider with a portable fridge like this is power. Obviously, this is a refrigerator. It's going to need power, and when you're on the go, what are you going to do about that? There's a bunch of different options. The one that I went with is the one that I already had, which is a portable battery, which is this one. I'm using the Anker version right now. I've made a full video on this on my channel. I'll link it down below, but I just use the car socket, and that is how it plugs in. And for this size battery, which is a 1500 watt battery, I am able to run this for easily 2 days. Now, it does depend on the temperature outside. So if it's not too hot, it'll run no problem. But if it does get very warm, very hot outside, that means it's getting hot in the car as well. So it's going to have to run continuously. So it's going to use more power. It's going to vary depending on your situation. But one thing I did not consider before I got this was that, when you're not using it, it's going to get hot. So when you want to use it, you have to plug it in, and it's going to have to cool down from, whatever 80 degrees down to whatever temperature you set it. Like me, I have it set at 32. So that would zap a lot of the juice from your battery. So what I do instead is I just have the AC power cord running to the back seat. And when I'm at home, I could just plug it into my house. And that way it can, cool down from the AC outlet. And then once I need to go, swap over to the battery power. That way I'm the most efficient. I'm not wasting my battery power, but this thing gets cool. Just something to think about, because I didn't even consider that before I got this. Now, to actually control everything, you have this control panel here on the side, and it has everything you need. You have temperature control, you have compressor speed, so if you want it to be on, the max setting so that it could just get cold as fast as possible, or if you're on battery power and you want it to be a little bit more efficient, you can put it on minimum. And if you are running on battery, it has battery protection. So if it detects a voltage is too low, it will shut it off. So that way you're not going to be stranded because your battery dies. You can set that to high, mid, or low, just depending on what sensitivity you want. But that way no matter what, you're going to be able to get out and drive out. Even if your food, gets spoiled because it's hot and this thing had to shut off, at least the car is not going to die. So that, I think, is a very important feature that's built in. One question I had before getting this was, is it going to be accessible to get into the back of the fridge? And well, for me, yes, it is. It is a little difficult, especially when we're on a higher elevation, because getting into the back of the car is not like the easiest thing. So I can't actually see all the way down inside, but I could feel around and, get my way around there. But for my wife, who is much shorter than me, it's not really an option. She can't see or get into this when it's in the back of the car at all. So that's why we generally pull it out for now. So I do think that for us and in our situation, having a slide out is something we are going to want, and it is something I am going to eventually put in. I think that's the next stage here, is doing some kind of drawer system with that slide out so that we can, really store everything efficiently, get access to everything that we need without it constantly being a mess, which it really is at this point. It looks nice right now, but as soon as we hit a bunch of bumps, everything goes everywhere. So I'd like to fix that, and I think it will make using the VL45 even better, because I won't be the only one that can access it. My wife can do it, and it will just stay better in place. We can slide it out, get access. It'll just be overall better. So now I think the question is, is it actually worth buying a portable refrigerator like the VL45? And on one hand, absolutely yes. I am super happy I have it. It's not going to be leaving the rig. In fact, I'm going to be building it out even more so that using it is even easier, like I mentioned. But at the same time, I don't want it to seem like you actually need one of these. I mean, obviously that applies to a lot of different products out there, but especially with the overland culture and the off-roading, when people are showing their rigs, everyone has a portable refrigerator, and it seems like something you definitely want to have. But at the same time, if I had to go back to just using an ice chest when getting ice every time I needed it, it wouldn't be in the end of the world. It's what I've been doing up until now. So I just don't want you to think, if you're someone that's looking at one of these, that you're missing out in a lot of ways. You're really not. This is just a more convenient way to have food and keep it stored. But it isn't without its downfalls. Like I mentioned, there are some things that you have to work out and have to think about, because you are using power on the go, and that comes with its own things that you have to just consider for your rig. Now, if you want to check out the VL45 and pick it up for yourself, there actually is a 12% off code. Just use MattG when you want to go check it out. The link will be down in the description. That'll give you 12% off the price. So be sure to go check that out. But overall, if you are looking at buying something from Iceco, the VL45, I think, is kind of the best compromise between price and features, and it does everything I want it to do, and I'm happy it's in my rig.